Are you ready to unleash your full potential and love your practice and your life? Welcome to the Legal Athlete Podcast, where every week I share the science, sports psychology, and neuroscience based strategies that elite athletes use to dominate their game so you can dominate yours. I'm Jess Sargus, your host and high performance coach for lawyers. With over 22 years as a trial attorney and legal exec, I've been where you are. But I'm also an undefeated former MMA fighter and coach for professional combat athletes. And now I'm here to use both those skill sets to help you master high performance techniques and strategies so you can win more, stress less, and love your practice and your life. Get ready to become a legal athlete. Green light. Let's get it. Welcome to the Legal Athlete Podcast, where we explore how you can harness, own, and master the mindset and techniques of elite athletes to achieve optimal performance in your legal career. I'm your host, Jess Sargus, a high-performance coach for lawyers. And today, we're diving into how to prime your mind for elite performance. Now, whether you're a seasoned attorney, a rising associate, or just starting law school, setting intentional goals and focusing your efforts through your personal purpose are essential steps toward a fulfilling and balanced legal career. And today, we're going to go over a framework that will help you do exactly that. Lay the foundation for building a career with purpose and a life that thrives alongside it. So let's jump in. In today's podcast, we're going to cover 3 core elements. First, identifying core values, getting to the root of what truly drives you, what is truly important to you at your core. Number 2, goal setting, establishing clear, specific goals that align with those values. And third, we're going to do future vision statements. That's creating a mental picture of your desired future, which we'll use as a mental priming exercise. But first, let's get aligned on the essential, overarching mindset that you need to power and sustain the hard work and focus that it takes to implement this model and to achieve a high performance career. And that's a growth mindset. And I know you've probably heard me talk about this before, but it's my favorite. I love it. You're going to hear it all the time. But it's really important that we understand the concept of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. In a fixed mindset, you believe your abilities and intelligence and even your potential are static, are limited. It's easy to get discouraged if things don't go well because you see setbacks as proof of these limitations, these presets. This mindset can be common in high-pressure fields like law, where the stakes are high and judgment is constant. But in contrast, a growth mindset is about believing in the potential to develop and improve through effort, strategy, and resilience. This shift in thinking is crucial for elite performance, whether you're in court, managing complex legal cases, or in the ring or cage. So speaking of the cage, let's take Georges St. Pierre, one of the greatest MMA fighters in UFC history. In 2007, George lost his championship title to Matt Serra, a massive underdog. I think he was like 11-1 at the time. That loss, which George described as the biggest humiliation of his life, exposed key mental gaps that had affected his performance. Little side note here. When I was training at Longo and Weidman MMA in New York, legendary MMA coach Ray Longo told me a fascinating counter story about the mindset training he used with Matt Serra going into that St. Pierre fight that led to Matt's huge upset victory. Ray's focus, the mindset focus for the underdogs, was proving everyone wrong, proving that they deserved to be champions. They were bound and determined to do everything that they could to put in the work to win that championship. They would meet at the gym at midnight. They'd be working until 1 or 2 a.m. to make sure that they got in that work every day. And it was that kind of dedicated, hard, relentless work that they put in that was a real competitive advantage for underdog Matt Serra to go into that fight with George St. Pierre. But back to George. Shortly after he lost that fight to Matt Serra, instead of letting the defeat define him, George reconnected with his growth mindset and called in mental performance coach Brian Cain. Cain helped George analyze what had gone wrong in his mindset going into the fight. Coach Cain saw that George had allowed the overwhelming expectation of his victory to affect his preparation, to fracture his focus, and to have him believe that he had no more improvements to make to his game to win that fight. As the favorite, George accepted high-profile commitments and engaged in more public appearances than usual, distractions that lowered his mental readiness. His self-talk had also shifted from growth-oriented to believing his own hype, which diminished his respect for the fight's difficulty and his opponent's prowess, and also diminished George's ability to improve leading up to it. And then, after the loss, Coach Cain found that George was bogged down by negative thoughts and feelings of humiliation, which clouded his ability to think clearly and move forward. To overcome these issues, Cain guided George through mental performance techniques that allowed him to regain his focus, redirect his energy towards present goals, and ultimately come back stronger to reclaim his title from Serra at UFC 83 in 2008. And George never lost again for the rest of his UFC Hall of Fame career, over 10 more fights and 9 more years until he retired from the sport in 2017 as the still reigning champion. All this to show how deeply impactful maintaining a growth mindset and mastering your focus and goal pursuit is for anyone who wants to be a champion in their field. For George, it allowed him to turn a painful loss into reconnecting with his growth mindset and his highest values and goals, and turned it into a launching pad for a dominant, nonstop future success. For you and your legal career, by adopting a growth mindset, you will think of every challenge, critique, or difficult case as an opportunity for development. Rather than seeing obstacles as reflections of your limitations, you'll view them as steps that bring you closer to mastering your craft. And in doing so, you won't just achieve, you'll grow. And you're priming your mind to keep evolving and keep enjoying that journey of growth. This is the mindset that will carry you through the highs and lows of your career, so you can have a mental game like an elite athlete. Now that we have that shared elemental understanding, let's use it to create the foundation for your high performance goal setting and mental priming. Setting intentional goals starts by understanding the deeper motivations behind your ambitions. This isn't just the next milestone, but about the lasting impact you want to make and the personal satisfaction that comes with it. So, step one, identifying core values. Think of your values as your true north on your internal compass. In the fast-paced legal world where expectations and pressures are relentless, it's easy to drift. But values are like anchors. They help keep you steady and they give you a sense of purpose. So here's a guided exercise. Grab a pen and paper or open a notes app. I'm analog. I really love my pen and paper, but do what works for you. Write down 5 values that resonate with you deeply. It might be integrity, it might be honesty, it might be kindness, growth, justice, financial freedom. Don't overthink it. Just list what feels authentic as deeply resonating with you. And now look at these values and consider which ones influence your career decisions the most. The goal here is to create an awareness of these values because they'll serve as the foundation for your future goals. So once you've identified your core values, then we're on to step 2, goal setting. Let's talk about setting intentional goals that align with your values. Think of one short-term goal and one long-term goal. A short-term goal, we're thinking maybe 1 month to maybe 3 months. Long-term goal, we're thinking more like a year, 5 years, 10 years. Your short-term goal might be as simple as building stronger networking habits. Your long-term goal, however, is a bit grander. It could be something like becoming a recognized expert in a niche practice area or achieving a role that offers more life balance. Something big that you want to achieve in your career. Now, make sure that these goals align with the values that you listed in step 1. If one of your values is work-life balance, but your goals demand overworking, you may want to reevaluate whether your goals really align. Alignment is the key. Finally, let's create a future vision statement. This mental priming technique is about visualizing your ideal future self. When this is done with intention, this exercise gives you a mental blueprint to return to when things get challenging. So, first part of this is close your eyes and imagine your life 5 years from now. Picture where you are in your career, the work you're doing, and who you're surrounded by. Picture how you're spending your time each day. And imagine not only your professional success and activities, but also your personal fulfillment and what you're doing in your personal life and with whom. Write down this vision in vivid detail. Now, let's back up that part because this is the critical aspect. And this is where we're going to bring in some neuroscience. So recently, Mel Robbins had Dr. Jim Doty on her podcast, and he's a Stanford neurosurgeon and neuroscientist who is an expert on visualization. Dr. Doty has 4 steps that anyone can do and practice in order to master visualization in a really effective way. The first step, write down that vivid vision that you've just created for yourself, that vivid vision of yourself in 5 years. And writing it down with a pen and paper or a notebook, that's so tactile, that's so physical, that's going to be your best bet. But if you're not a pen and paper person and what you want to do is use your notes app or use a keyboard, you can do that too. That is a physical act. I think you're going to find that writing it down with pen and paper, slowing it down, and really focusing into that task is going to get you better results. So, number 1, write it down. Number 2, then you're going to read that back to yourself silently. Soak in that vivid vision you've created for yourself of your life. Step 3, you're going to read it out loud this time. You're going to hear yourself saying exactly what it is that you are and that you're doing. Let's unpack that a little bit too. When you are writing your future vision statement, write it in the I am form rather than the I will or I am going to. That's not helpful. I am is so much more powerful than I will be or I hope I. I am is the vision. So use that phrasing. The 4th step is as you're reading it out loud, visualize it vividly. How does it feel? How do you spend your time? What are you seeing? What is around you? What are you hearing? All of these senses are going to make this much more vivid for you, help you to visualize it. So after you do those 4 steps, write it down in a physical way, read it to yourself silently, read it out loud, and visualize it vividly. You want to repeat that process often. It doesn't have to be every day, but frequently enough that continues to be your North Star. And when you do that, Dr. Doty explained that this embeds it into your subconscious and activates different cognitive brain networks in service of making that vision your reality. It makes that future vision salient. It makes it important. That is going to have your brain working 24/7 to help you solve your action steps to make that vision a reality. Because in your brain, it already is the reality. And one note of caution also from Dr. Doty, these are based on habit. So what you're going to do to make that vision happen is you're going to start with that short-term goal or short-term goals that we already identified. What are the things in the near term that allow you to start to develop habits that are going to take you all the way to that grand vision? Doing the small things every day with habit, with discipline, with consistency that will allow you to do the big things that are in your vision. This future vision statement is going to become a powerful tool for you. And each time you revisit it, you're mentally priming yourself, reminding your brain of your path and your potential. This practice fosters resilience and a positive mindset and allows you to persist through challenges and keep moving forward toward your vision. So let's recap. Number 1, to prime your mind for elite performance, start with identifying your core values, your foundation. Step 2, you're going to move into goal setting with intentions that are aligned with those values that resonate most deeply with you. And then 3rd, craft that future vision statement to visualize your success and stay motivated and stay on task. These practices are here to help provide clarity and keep you grounded. The key is, in order to live with intention, you need a plan. That's going to allow you to be crystal clear about who you are, what you want, and where you invest your time and your effort. All of these practices are here to help you provide clarity and keep you grounded as you move forward in both career and personal growth. It's about aligning what you do with who you truly are. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a few minutes today to work on these exercises. Jot down the values that you are identifying, that you're thinking about. Again, no judgment. It's just what matters most to you. And you want to be authentic. You're not writing someone else's version of an ideal life. You're writing yours. And if you're going to be spending all of your time on these missions to achieve those visions, they better be your real visions, or you're going to waste a lot of time living someone else's life. So do the work to be absolutely clear. Get in touch with yourself on what your values are, what your true north is. You're going to jot down those values, set at least one short-term and at least one long-term goal, and then craft your future vision statement and execute that 4-step process that Dr. Doty set out on a regular basis. Make it salient, make it important for yourself and for your brain. That's going to allow you to stay laser focused on your goals and your purpose and give you the most powerful engine driving your high performance practice every day. Remember, as you work towards your goals and stay centered on your purpose, the point is to make sure that every day you're on a journey that helps you get just a little bit better at doing what you love and what matters most to you. It's not just about where you're going, but who you are and who you're becoming along the way. Thank you for joining me on the Legal Athlete Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to subscribe or follow, leave a review or comment, and share it with another lawyer looking to up their game. I would love to know if you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, such as clarifying your purpose or the highest impact actions you can take to make your future vision a reality. And if you want to explore a customized strategy to optimize your practice, send me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram or an email to jess@thelegalathlete.com. I'd love to hear more. Until next time, legal athletes, keep pushing forward, keep growing, and let's continue the journey together. Green light. Let's get it.